it's people out here who will laugh at you when you're in the storm, but as soon as the storm starts moving their way, they want you to have pity on them. So a massive layoff is going to happen because that's the goal of the administration, is to reduce the workforce. And right now, federal workers need to prepare themselves mentally. Ready or not, a change is here, and everything that you thought you knew about government is gone. Welcome in, everybody. We have a lot to dismantle today. And yes, I said dismantle. Some of y'all will catch that at the end, but let's talk about it. So we know that just recently a judge paused the federal buyout program for the federal workers. And currently, right now, the judge has ruled in favor of the Trump administration, allowing the buyout proposal to continue. Now, we know what the program includes, but for some of you all who may have missed it, I'm gonna catch you up on it. So the original plan stated that you can remain employed or you can resign. And as a bonus, if you resign, I'm going to give you 8 months of your salary and benefits. And you can get another job if you want to. You can double dip. But if you decide to keep your job, the plan would not guarantee that your job will remain intact. So we cannot guarantee you a position in the future. And also with that plan, you all remember, you don't have to worry about coming in to work. So that sounds like a nice plan, right? So check this out. So currently, right now, 75,000 federal workers have accepted the buyout plan. And the administration's goal was to reduce the federal workers by 5 and 10%. They're not there yet, but close. Everybody's situation is unique. Some people are already close to retirement, so accepting the buyout was a win-win for them. This is really going to help them to transition into retirement with financial stability. But for some people, it's going to lead to financial instability. Think about it from a humanistic point of view. Like if you were in the situation. Some people just purchase new homes. Their homes are not paid off. They have medical expenses. And just think about it. Some of these workers have worked in these positions for over 20 years. This is all that they have done. And trying to find another job is very scary. Some people may have children with chronic illnesses, or they may be working with chronic illnesses, and they're really dependent.
I think when you do these type of things, you're going to always go to the worst case scenarios, to the 0.00001%. Children with chronic illnesses. I don't know nobody with that. And I know a lot of people. A lot of people. So don't go to just one nuanced, of course there's always going to be this thing, well, what about someone that's what about someone that's diabetic? What about someone that's one car payment away from repossession? What about someone that's one payment of their being evicted? You can go down that rabbit hole all day. But no. That's not most people. That's always the worst case scenario, because most people take care of their business and they do what they have to do. And most people don't have what this lady is talking about, chronically ill children in these type of things. Not to diminish that whatsoever, but in the grand scheme of things, to make a point, she's gonna go to just the smallest, minute, just something on the radar that doesn't really matter, because that chronically ill children, it's gonna be just fine. It's gonna be taken care of just fine. But it lets you know that people will go to the ends of earth to make a point.
on their job. And just think about it for a person that's been working for over 20 years. Ageism is real, y'all. People don't like to hire you when you're older. And like I said before, people like who they like. And you know, we live in America. People get jobs based on who they know and who has the most money, who has the most popularity. That's how people get jobs here. We know the federal government has very good health insurance, and it's a lot of people that's going to work with chronic illnesses, and they depend on that health insurance. And just think about it, this massive layoff that's going to happen, it's not just happening in Washington, it's happening all over. The United States has not expanded health care. Medicaid has not been expanded everywhere. We still have states like Alabama, Mississippi, Florida, and Georgia who does not have expanded health care. I was listening to this lady talk on the news yesterday. I think it was.
What is expanded health care? I really don't know what that means. Maybe she will expound on what expanded healthcare is. I really don't know what that means. Let's see. Maybe Google. Let's see. What is expanded healthcare? Expanding healthcare refers to the expansion of Medicaid coverage to more low-income Americans. This expansion is part of the Affordable Care Act, ACA. Okay, I mean, expanded healthcare is a thing, but it really doesn't clear my understanding of what expanded healthcare is. Isn't that what the Affordable Care Act was designed to do in the first place? And then we put an expanded label on it. I'm just confused. Somebody clear it up for me. Let's continue with this giant pink lipstick stuff that's going on here. What are these earrings? What is this? These giant earrings going on here. I'm just asking questions. I'm not judging one way or the other. I'm just, what is this?
Fox, and she was saying that it was a no-brainer to take the resignation because, hey, you're going to get 8 months of benefits and you can double dip. And she stated, like, if these people have a financial advisor, their financial advisor would be telling them to take the money and run. And, you can go out and find you a real job. And she was insinuating that some of these federal workers don't even have real jobs. And, it's so amazing to me to see how people speak about other people when they're not in the situation. They have a whole lot to say. And they have a whole lot to say about what they would do if they were in a situation. It's people out here who will laugh at you when you're in the storm. But as soon as the storm starts moving their way, they want you to have pity on them. One thing I do know, man does not control the storm. And when you're talking about somebody else and making fun of somebody else's situation, just remember, it could be you. It can be your loved one.
What the fuck is she talking about? Talking about the storm when the storm moves in your way in your situation. I'm really confused. I don't know what you're talking about. It's when you have a job and that job goes away for whatever reason, whose responsibility is it to go get another job? You, mirror, look in the mirror. It's up to you. No one's gonna give you anything. Unless you're a black single mother on welfare, and then of course the government's gonna give you everything that you need. But I'm confused by this lady. I think her lipstick is probably the biggest thing that's confusing me because it matches with these little accents and this ridiculous garb that she have on. I don't, you know. I'm just making observations, and these are just my opinions. These are not facts. It just is what it is.
One. So a massive layoff is going to happen because that's the goal of the administration, is to reduce the workforce. So it's going to happen. And right now, federal workers need to prepare themselves mentally. And I'm very passionate about federal workers. I myself am not a federal worker, but I work for a company that receives federal funding. So my job is contingent upon federal funds. I'm gonna tell you all this, and some of you all may relate to this. I remember when my job was going through a reduction in force. And I'm gonna tell you some of the things that they were looking for. First, they started looking at our performance appraisal to see if we had any reprimands. Then they started looking to see who they hired first, who was hired last, who comes to work on time. Just trying to look for the weakest person, or just trying to see which person who was underperforming. I remember all of this when it was happening.
And that's just what a business does. What is she talking about? That's what a business does every day, all day. If you're fall to that, you go to work, you be productive, this, that, and the other. You're gonna be fine. What? I don't understand what she's talking about. If you have excessive absences, if you're not productive, when you're not productive, any business, they're going to have a conversation with you about that. You know you're not being productive as you once were. So what are you going to do? Okay, this might be leading somewhere to where I think it's leading, but let's let her continue with this bubblegum lipstick on.
I have to say my job was not very dogmatic or rigid when we were going through this process. They actually networked with another agency who stated that they will accept the employees who were laid off. But I have to tell y'all, like, that job that they had was not very desirable. It was not a job I wanted to do, but it was available in case I needed it. So shout out to my job for doing that. I went through so much anxiety during that time. It felt like I was walking on eggshells every day. But I had already made up in my mind that I was going down with the ship, because actually they gave us a deadline that we had to accept that other job that they collaborated with. And if we didn't accept the job, they couldn't guarantee that they would be able to sustain our job. So this is something that actually happened, and I had to just wait it out to see if my job will be intact. And I'm here to say I'm so glad that I didn't have to go down with the ship and I was able to keep my job. But a lot of people had to go to that other company that wasn't very desirable. And that happened probably about 5 years ago, and those people are still trying to find something better. It's not as easy to find a job. Like I said, everybody has different situations. And when you're living in different states, there's different resources and availability. So if you're a federal worker.
So for the record, this. Woo! This is hard to get through. Luckily, there's less than 4 minutes. Ooh. What the fuck is she talking about? Oh my gosh. Oh, we lady. But you know what? To challenge myself, I am going to get through this lady meandering and whatever the fuck she's talking about. Let's get through these last few minutes. So a little over 4 minutes. Let's get through it. Oh my gosh.
worker or you're a person that's working federal programs, I can definitely relate to you and just be encouraged in this time. And I just cannot believe how reckless people are talking about federal workers. I don't know how people like everyday working people like myself, people who are dependent on a job themselves, who's not making over $350,000 a year. People that live in America talking about other Americans. And they can talk about them with so much disdain. Saying things like, flush the federal workers down the golden toilet. Oh, let's drain that swamp. Just talking about them like they're not nothing. Just not having any empathy for anybody. I just can't get with that. I'm a person, I understand that programs that are no benefit has to be cut. I agree with that. Getting rid of programs that don't make any sense, programs that's not benefiting anybody. Ooh. But just to talk reckless about somebody's livelihood, that's not my thing. And it's sad that people don't have any empathy for.
No one is talking recklessly about someone's livelihood. What are you talking about? Only thing that they're talking about is getting rid of the government inefficiency. That is what they're doing. There's going to be some collateral damage. That's what's going to happen. No one's talking about anyone's livelihood because no one knows what anyone's livelihood is really. Who no one's talking about that. Because if someone was talking about it, you would have just talked about it. Most people live paycheck to paycheck. We know that. Most people aren't making $350,000 a year. Most people are not. Most people are normal people. We live paycheck to paycheck. We may have some extra here and there to where we can travel to another state, couple states over 10 hours, 12 hours away, 14 hours away. That's what most people do. What is this lady talking about? Nobody's talking about what she's saying.
For people, when none of us are safe, all of our jobs can be affected. When you're working for somebody else, you're depending on that company. And it's a lot of jobs that receives federal funding. Because I believe what you put out, that's what you will receive. And that's why it's so important when you've been on a job for over 20 years, it's so important to continue to develop your skills, learn new things, take some classes, because you just never know when that job is going to fold. Also, get you a side hustle. Keep your resume updated. Always keep learning. Learn how to do investments.
I agree with that.
I try to keep learning skills because I just never know. But just keep yourself learning. It's just so important because we see what's happening. And the massive layoff is coming. So federal workers, people that's working federal programs, be encouraged. Use the resources that they have out.
And what she just said right there, you always have to be in a learning mode. It's just like whether it applies to a job, your life, I think you should be in a perpetual learning mode. Just anything you can learn, like anything. Just like if you walk outside of your residence, always be looking to learn something. Go to work, learn something. Those of us who are on these internets, which is most people, just don't be on the internet to get your mind blown out and this, that, and the other. Yes, a lot of being on the internet is entertainment, but I think if you're on the internet, go on a learning journey. Part of the time that you spend on the internet, make sure that is learning. It's just fascinating to me. I spend time on the internet for entertainment, but most of the time it's about learning. I see some stuff on the internet every single second, and it's just like amazing to me. The internet, maybe besides the airplane, because I think the airplane, but the internet, besides the airplane, is probably the greatest invention in our lifetime. There's probably something else that's going to come along. People might say the cell phone and things of that nature, but besides the internet, the airplane is like the greatest invention, but the internet is like one. It's like one and one A besides the airplane. But my point of that is, let's get on this internet and let's use it. Use your social media. Absolutely. Use it. But use it for what it's here for. It's here for entertainment. And even more important than that, social media is here for learning. And I do. I search much more for learning because I be watching some videos and I be looking up articles and I look up content just like, oh, wow, that is very interesting to me. So just use it for what it's there for, because it's a tool. Use a tool. It's like a hammer. It's like you take a hammer and you nail the nail in. It's a tool. That's what the internet is.
Because they still do have federal jobs that you can apply for. You may be able to transition into something else. This is a wake-up call for everyone. Everybody's lives are going to be changed at this time. People that used to be supervisors may have to work in a different capacity. People are going to be feeling some kind of way because they're going to be disconnected from coworkers that they have worked with for a very long time. So there's going to be a shift, and you have to prepare yourself mentally. And let's not make fun of people at this time. These are Americans with real problems, people that need their jobs.
No one's going to be making fun of these people. Stop it. What are we talking about? No one's going to be making fun of these people. No one is ever in favor of people losing their job. Stop. No.
You have to realize that everybody that works for the federal government is not bad. And I understand that you have to uproot the bad, but sometimes the good get affected when you're trying to get rid of the bad. So just be mindful of people's situations. Also, I want to say this. I just want to thank everybody so much for watching my channel. My channel would be nothing without you all watching, and I just appreciate you all so much. Talking about politics is something that's very new to me, so I'm still learning a whole lot of stuff. I like to talk about the things in politics that's related to the working class because I am a working person and I work very hard. So I usually talk about things that's related to the working class. But who knows, I may start talking about something else, but we shall see. This is a journey for me, but I just thank you all so much for being on this journey with me. And you all know I love talking to you all in the comments. Let me know what resonated with you in this video. But just make sure you be mindful of your conversation and how you talk in the comments. Make sure that you're kind and courteous and talk with respect. We're all adults. We're all going through something. So just be mindful of that. But that's all I have, you guys. And
so that's going to be in this video. It's just to find a few seconds on my thoughts about what she's talking about. And she said it right at the end. She's new to talking politics. I'm a little more schooled than she probably is. But before you get on here and start talking in this way, you can go to the same places that I go to get my information, and you can fact check, and you can cross check, and you can back check anything that you want to know about. It's there. Even though in America our internet is censored to a certain point, we can still get to the basics of any argument that we have. And as I say that, I don't know if I'm confident in that statement. Just let me be honest. Because there's a million things that the powers that be don't want us to know about, and that we will never know about until they want us to know about them. But anyway, that's the end of this video. If you're on Facebook, like the video. More importantly, comment on the video. Go over to Missing 45000.